Which is great for fighting the virus, but
today is May 2nd, and this is what's happening in the world.
Hasn't worked in 7 days.
Well, we all know this, and outside here it's quite a nice weather. It's May 2009, and this is a stunning place, but it's also somehow a little lonely. So I've decided that I'm going to make a kind of video that, that's going to be part of my blog, which is basically reporting every day about what it is to live like this. A kind of voluntary big brother on sustainability and, other ways of living maybe. So I'm going to report today about how I do dishes. Well, you might think it's an odd thing to start filming doing dishes, but well, maybe it's not so odd because it's something that we're using a lot of energy on as well. But there is also another aspect to it, and that is actually in many ways very therapeutical. So, and that's actually why I decided, that I thought that this would be interesting, because stuffing things into a dishwasher might not be the same as actually doing this process of cleaning up after yourself and doing it in a relatively sustainable way. So I'll put the camera over. This is all, by the way, I don't know if you know this, but basically all these videos are filmed by myself. I hope you will enjoy my dishing. Actually, lots of people have asked me, but what I do here first is that I take the dirty dishes and wash them with this brush here, because that's the dirty brush, and I do this in a light soap water so that you sort of get the first rinse, and then I just stack things, and you know what, it's like really washing off your own dirt. So being a little sort of depressed today, I kind of think it's good just to get this stuff off, get it into the water, so this is the first rinse, and it's like, it's as I say, therapeutical in the sense that it let me sort of get rid of something. And doing dishes daily is something I tend to do, but sometimes I like to leave things, because then I have this big pile that I have now, and it's sort of, it's kind of a nice thing both to leave it, because that gives you a bit of freedom, but it's also nice to actually do a whole pile of dishes, because then you really feel that you're doing something. Not that there is not a lot of things to do here, because there are tons of things to do here, and which is maybe why I sometimes get sort of completely overwhelmed, especially now that I'm currently alone here. So, you see, now things are structured a little bit, and I will now start to do the real dishes. These have been rinsed before, I did this before, and so basically I take this water, because this water is actually very, very, very okay for the veggies outside. So that's what I'm going to do now. So I'm just going to go outside and throw this so that it gets back to nature, because it's a good washing up liquid. So now, next thing is to put back some hot water. I'm just going to rinse this slightly, and in the future, not such a long time from now, this water will go straight into the kitchen garden, and the washing up liquid I'm using here, not very much, is a soap called organic. There's a lot of talk about what you should use and what you shouldn't use. I'm not using very much, as I say, I tend to throw the water out if I can, because I think it makes sense. But I throw it different places so it doesn't contaminate in one place, which is very much what pollution is all about, is that we throw things at the same place Now if you could spread things more, it would be more even, things would digest more easily, and that way we would actually be capable of delivering more back. But also, again, in what I talk a lot about, easily understandable ways, which means that, there's a lot of foam here now. Normally there isn't. Maybe I put too much in. Not a good thing. Anyway, the water here is electrically heated, which means that it comes from a nuclear power station, I would imagine, somewhere around here, which obviously it will not be in a not so distant future, because it will be basically coming from the power that we'll be producing from out here from the waterfall. So what I'm doing now is I'm taking my green brush. I know that there are different cultures, there are different ways of doing it, but now of course I left my green brush somewhere. I left it here. And I do all the glasses first. Ouch! It was hot. So I do glasses first. I don't rinse because I don't think that this washing up liquid here is very harmful. It's basically what's it called? Organic vegetable oils. That's what these kind of things are made from. So I don't think it's terribly unhealthy. And therefore I don't rinse. And the reason why many people rinse is because they don't like the marks on their glasses. Now, if there are serious marks on your glasses, then you can sort of dry them off, or you can use a little bit of water afterwards to clean them if you have guests and you want to look very nice. So anyway, dishwashing is and has always been an interest of mine. I've actually designed dishwashing brushes because I thought it was important, and I thought it was, as I said, important because of the therapeutical aspects of it. Now, what I'm doing here is I'm doing this alone. Ideally, I would do it with somebody, and we'd have a small conversation about life and death and God knows what. So I think dishwashing could become, should become, a part of our daily lives again. I must admit that sometimes I would prefer to have a machine, or maybe it could be a combination, so that you actually utilize this little therapeutical thing here to play around with for example, your family. Use it as a part of discussion about how do we treat our resources, because this is definitely a way where you get an understanding of how things are working, because you're throwing away your dirt, and it's exactly the same as the process that I have been talking about elsewhere in relation, for example, to composting. It's kind of the same thing. This is a resource. Things are happening here. These molecular structures that is doing this for us is part of our survival. If we didn't have this, we might end up living in a completely different way, or we might end up dying from very strange diseases because we wouldn't be capable of doing or having a hygiene level as we need as human beings. So I think it's relevant, I think it's important, and I hope you can see this. And to designers and architects, I suggest that we look into new ways of doing dishes, of washing up, of being together in the kitchen, not just shuffling everything into a machine. Again, I'm not saying that the machine shouldn't be there. I'm saying that there could be new ways of doing things, there could be other ways of doing things, there could be new machines, new technology that could come up with ideas in a different way on how we can do a simple, banal thing as doing dishes, because it does use a lot of water. And I know people who are pumping out liters and liters and liters, hundreds of liters of hot water every day to do their dishes. And I find it really complicated and problematical, because I know that the water comes from a public system where water is being treated, it's added chemicals, etc., etc., and it's being heated using oil, or in this case here, nuclear power. And it really is a major resource that's just being thrown away for literally no reason. And by considering it and doing it in a different way, you can do it. It's no big deal. So hope this inspires a little bit.